planned to be is it still planned to be a light rail system or bus rapid transit system? Because I remember that was like discussed back in the day, and otherwise plans before it was canceled was to set on a light rail system.
So this is light rail. It's the same the same plans that they had. And what I highly suggest on our website, our website, I may put it on I'll put in the chat.
Yes,
It's moretransitequity.com. You'll see, if you haven't seen it yet, it's the coolest thing. It's a simulator of the red line, and it's starting from the centers of Medicare, Medicaid. And you can see it traveling through the city when it goes underground, around Cooks Lane, comes back up on ground, follows through Edmondson Avenue, and goes all the way over down to John Hopkins Bayview, and it goes back out into the county. So if you just go to our website, it was going to say see video. You can look at the video. It's about 17 minutes long, but it actually shows the travel path and how it goes underground and comes up, and it's really cool. So I highly suggest watching that. I'll put the our website in the chat.
super.
Can I ask about, does it hook up with, any of the DC, transportation? Line, I was a little confused when you said it went out to Bayview, because I thought that's what the metro was for, was that whole take people from the city out to Bayview and back again. So it seems to me that it would be duplicative to put a light rail alongside a metro station when there's many other places in Baltimore where we don't have anything.
Yeah.
Including going towards DC.
Right. It won't be a direct connector, but it will connect you to things that would get you there. But there isn't one going from Baltimore, which they should do. I really think they should. It makes so much sense. I have
You ran long enough to know too, right? Wasn't it supposed to be out over like the highway to nowhere? And this just seems to be a what we already have.
Well, there's no metro on the west side, other than downtown West Baltimore area. So we connect farther west all the way over to the east side.
I mean, all it has is a stop at Medicaid, Medicare, so Security Square Mall, Social Security Administration, Emerson Village, and then all downtown straight over to back to Bayview.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think, some of the bus routes, the whole idea behind it was to connect all of these various places. And when you look at the map compared to the metro stops, it's not the exact same for sure. So
It's like a block or two, for real.
There's some that are further down, and the red line was supposed to go, I can't tell from that map if it goes down to on Boston Street and then comes back up. So there were definitely different.
I can't really tell from
So,
that.
yeah, I can't tell from that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's right here, Canton Crossing.
I just feel like
It
there's a
doesn't
lot
show
of
where the metro is on this map.
yeah, there's a lot of attention that goes into Johns Hopkins Bayview to Canton, to the areas in Baltimore that have higher incomes and whiter people. And I would like to see Baltimore have a transit system that works for all areas and not just the wealthy areas. This seems to be duplicative of what we already have, which already, like, people call it like basically the doctor's metro. It goes from Owings Mills to Bayview. It's for all the doctors in Owings Mills who work at Bayview and don't want to deal with the traffic. So I feel like this is really just part of that same.
I think it's going through some of the other neighborhoods, but I see your point. I think the main point that the Transit Equity Coalition is really going for here is just really to create our own transit system, regional transit authority, so we can have these discussions about this rather than wait for the MTA to do nothing.
Exactly. Yes. Said very well.
It's going the other direction, and the idea was to hook it up with DC.
Right.
So this is completely opposite.
That's going. I mean, it goes to the West Baltimore MARC to go down to DC, and then the Bayview MARC station, which also connects to the MARC station. But I see your point. I think that
it's going back.
a revitalized red line. There's now money in the federal government budget to do this. Plus, MTA has been doing a lot more work on East-West Transit, but mostly on rapid bus. And then the idea is there's definitely going to have to be some rethinking about this, just because of the different changes that have been made, the West Baltimore Merck Station, all of that. But the point of the campaign itself is to try to get money to be able to start the process of establishing the Regional Transit Authority, which I fully believe in, because MTA being at the mercy of whatever governor is in office has been frustrating. But your point is well taken. I mean, I think I want to look a little bit more at this, but the main point here is to say, okay, let's get a little bit more control over the situation.
Why Hartford? I mean, all the other ones made sense to me, but I was like, oh, Hartford County, we're gonna go all the way up that direction too.
Was it Howard or Hartford?
Well, Howard too, but there's another one that we're also asking if they would like to join it. I'm
I'm
not.
part of the, so there's already a regional group. I forgot the name, but it's a regional group of the jurisdictions, the Baltimore metro area, and Hartford is part of it.
Oh, okay, so it's gonna go.
They actually, that particular group, for some reason had Queen Anne's, but last time I checked. The Bay,
Right?
but it's mostly the big counties in. Specific.
Yeah, all the other ones make perfect sense. I'm just like, oh, all right.
Yeah, no, I
Throw
know.
it in.
Yeah, Hartford doesn't get any of our water, but Howard gets our water, Baltimore County gets our water, and Arundel get our water. So if we ever get a regional water authority, which is a conversation, it would not include Hartford. So, but yeah, some of the MTA bus system, it's a spoke system, so it goes out like that. And so I think there's one or two that go out in that direction. It's just don't know, where the job centers are and all of that. So yeah.
So another question for you from online. Comment, while the red line is an important initiative, it's going to take many years to be completed. Is the Baltimore Transit Equity Coalition doing anything that's looking at kind of in the interim? Are there improvements that can be made in, say, bus services and things like that? Or are you pretty much focused
We're
on this
not
one piece?
interested in buses because
Okay.
that's all they seem to give us. So whenever there's a transportation problem, they throw a bus at it.
Right.
And so we're going rail.
Yeah.
And another reason why we are heavily on rail is because of economic development. So economic development follows rail, not bus.
Yep.
So we
Yeah.
want that economic development here. We want the infrastructure here in the
Yes.
city. So we're definitely advocating for rail.
But the Regional Transit Authority would be for all modes. It would be for bus.
Absolutely.
It would be for
Oh,
rail,
absolutely,
It would be
absolutely.
for metro. It would be for making sure that everything connects, because right now nothing connects. So it would take all of that. The red line is strictly rail, but the transit authority itself would look at all modes. I mean, even look at yellow bus for students, like that's bananas that are only yellow bus for students. So I mean, we do for students with disabilities, but so there's a lot of opportunity there if we.
There's such a theme with returning control to Baltimore.
Yeah.
Great. So folks in the room, just wanted to let you know, Zanetta shared her contact information in the chat, and I'm sure she'd be happy to share it with you all as well.
There's a comment about the purple line.
Yeah, please.
So I'm not the authority on that. I know that was or is I mean, what they're doing it's just turning out to be a big problem in terms of overruns and the money. And I don't know a lot to talk about the purple line, to be honest. I do apologize for that.
And Purple Line is that DC?
That's the one that's in
Rail.
Okay.
yeah, and that's in Prince George's, connecting out there, Prince George's, and I believe it's Montgomery County. I believe it's going to Montgomery. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. And then another comment, it's not either or. A lot of low-income people depend on bus now, and the system is broken. So understandably that there needs to be parallel tracks of the work that improves what's happening now, as well as what's moving forward in the future. Samantha, thanks so much for coming to talk with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
To help.
Oh, absolutely. So if you guys would like to help and sign a petition, I have some with me here. You guys can sign tonight, those that are live with me
please.
here. And also, you can go to our website at moretransit.equity.com, go under petition campaign and scroll down. You can actually print the petition. It has to be front and back because the summary of the actual language for the amendment have to be on the back of the petition. The full language of the amendment is on our website. So if anyone's interested in reading, it's about 4 pages. You can read the whole part of the amendment that we would like to add and get adopted on the city's charter. But if you go to our website on the petition campaign, you can print the petition, you can sign, have your friends and family and neighbors sign, and then just mail them into us because they have to be live signatures.
Yep.
No electronic signatures. That's the only thing about petitions. They have to be live. And that's what you guys could do to support. You can also join a petition team. We're out in the marketplaces every Saturday. We're going to be over at Waverly, and on Sunday we'll be at the Baltimore Market underneath the bridge, Jones Falls Bridge. So you can come out and drop the petitions off there, say hi to us, help us get other people to sign.
Excellent. And if folks want to volunteer with you, is the best way to just email you?
Email me is the best way. If you go back to our website under calendar of events, you'll also see where we're going to be. My email's on there. We have a Tuesday. Every Tuesday, we have the steering committee meeting. The link is on the website. You guys can join, be a part of the conversation, stay involved. Absolutely. There's always room for more people to get in on the conversation.
Excellent. Last but not least, can we make a copy to sign at the library or family center? Great question, Barbara.
Yes, from the website, you would just go to the website and you can download the petition on our website. Just make sure you print front and back, and you can use that and to sign and just mail in to us.
She's got a lot on her clipboard, so we can
Leave some, yeah.
We'll
So if
leave
you
some
have
here.
extras, yeah, we can leave it upstairs at the library. So we'll confirm with Lynn that that's okay. Great. All right.
Okay,
Thank you so much for joining us. Really, such a pleasure to have you.
Yeah.
Keep up the work.
Work assignments.
I know.
Yeah.
Great. Dan, for folks in the room, Dan posted a graphic of the DC metro system and says it could be like this one day. So
No. Actually, that was a proposal passed in 2002 of what Baltimore
okay.
would look like with light rail, and the red line is on there along with other rails. So that Baltimore, and that was over 20 years ago.
Supposed to connect.
Yeah. So right. So Dan's like, no, this is Baltimore. Yes. Yeah. All right. Let me go back to sharing screens. And I wanted to give you all an update on a conversation that we started last month. So you'll recall that we had two folks join us who were from merchants, and here we go. One of them on West 36th. So this was the first individual who came to speak with us, Josie from Suspended Brewery. Wanted to let you know that we did have 2 or 3 follow-up emails from folks who had some concerns. So I had a conversation with Simon Torres, who is the president of Wyman Park. So the follow-up is that they'll be inviting Suspended Brewery to attend the May 16th meeting at Keswick Multicare. That's where they have their roughly quarterly meetings. So folks are most welcome to join that meeting if you have questions, concerns that you want to raise. And we do anticipate, to the extent needed, a follow-up meeting with a date TBD. So just wanted to let you know that the conversation has started, but it's not completed. I understand that there's a conditional. Thank you. Councilwoman, would you like to share that there are 2 things? It's a zoning thing and a
They have
license.
to transfer their liquor license.
Yep.
and they have to get zoning approval for, they want to go up. So there'll be 2 hearings in that regard, and then they have a conditional contract, meaning they've signed a contract to buy the
Yep.
building, but it's conditional on getting these approvals. So,
Yes.
conditional not in the zoning sense, conditional in you gotta get the approvals first before you can buy the property.
Okay. Great. Any questions on that, that piece of follow-up?
I think that there are residents that live on that 600 block that were a little concerned. One side is, well, they're both, that block is considered both Hampden and Wyman Park.
Yep.
So, there's one constituent in particular that has some serious concerns without knowing exactly what the model is. So we're we'll see how that works.
Yeah. Good.
But I haven't seen anything on the zoning website yet about the hearing or anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know where any of that is.
Yeah, I don't have additional. Let's see if there's anything. Okay. Next, we skimmed over this very quickly last time. So just wanted to raise it again that at the very end of Elm, so this is the southern side of Hampden, there's a request that's been put in for a 2-story rear addition. So just wanted to raise this for everybody's attention again. Don't have further information on it, but
I haven't received anything.
yeah. So just raising the story. All right. Okay, so it's 7:30. This is the extent of the major updates that I wanted to offer. Are there any other HCC folks that, oh, I beg your pardon. There is one other, there's a treasurer's report. Just give me a second. All right. Dave, Dave, do you want to come up for a second and share with us?
Hey, hello everyone. Just a quick run through of our finances. We started with all of our accounts put together. I guess I can scroll through.
Yes, feel free to move this around. Thank you.
How do I get to that screen?
If you bring your cursor over.
What's that?
Yeah.
Go.
Okay. So just bring over. I don't see it.
Oh,
There we go.
That's
Okay.
nice.
Now you can.
Okay, so yeah, there are bank accounts altogether for 16,000. Well, you can see the number 16,000, about $350. We took in how much money? Huh, that's interesting. That does not show what I sent. Fair enough. Well, I'll make it up as we go along. So the income we got, we had a total of $525 in terms of membership dues, and we got a sponsorship. So that amounted to a total of $525, and then we got a full 18 cents in interest from our savings account. However, our expenses were $160. We have a monthly Zoom fee of about $16. QuickBooks cost us $55 a month. PayPal fees, they always take a little bit of each transaction. That was about $12. We had to update our filings with the new board members. We had a new resident agent, which is me. And that the state charges $77 for that. So that was all of our expenses. All in all, for the month, we gained $365 to end our accounts at a change drawer. We just have a change drawer for convenience. If we ever host events, it just makes it easy to break change. That's $60. The checking went down from $5,230 to $5,100. The checking was more or less the same at $10,000, $10,260. However, that's we have that for the community fund that, as far as we know, we don't have any applications for. So if somebody did have a good community project, please find the how to apply and send it to us. We'll eventually have to get back to that. And then our PayPal went up from $450 to $945, and that's largely due to the that sponsorship that came in. So that is our treasurer's report. If you have any questions, please feel free to mail me at hcctreasurer01@gmail.com, or if you have questions now, I'm here ready to go. So ask away.
Looks like nothing in the chat so far, but
Okay.
we would welcome
All right.
questions.
Sounds good. Well, I'm still in the room. I'll hand things back to Ritsina, but if anyone does ask, please let me know.
Thanks so much, Jason. All right, Councilman Torrance has raised his hand. Go ahead. Councilman, did you want to share something?
Sorry guys, I'm managing between 3 meetings. 1 second.
I have some updates too, if we don't know.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
He's probably checking on. Here.
Yeah, please.
Hello guys. Oh, sorry.
There it is. Yeah.
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll be quick. I have some great news. We have worked out some conversations with BG&E and DPW in terms of like resurfacing. Right now, I'm working with the administration on getting some much needed funding through. Even came up with a great idea that we're vetting with the administration. We're to see if we can get the Department of Transportation to do some of the actual repaving to save the city money, as well as because a number of the contracts that you guys are under right now were thought about and priced out in 2015, and we have changed the standards for DOT in 2019, which went to curb resurfacing, not just patchwork. So we're figuring that out, but BG&E is going to move forward with resurfacing the 37 West 37th Street as well as Buena Vista right now. So I'm waiting for the exact dates when they will start that. We have help with, and we are helping with a resident who has some issues in terms of water leaking. So, and then this past weekend, we had the contractor and a site visit with some of our service organizations to ensure that our contract is good and repairing all these patches until we can have all the resurfacing done. So they had an inspection today by DOT. DOT has given them a timeline to put all the patches to grade so that it is smooth sailing and smooth riding until we get them fully resurfaced. And then for a little note, I just dropped into the Delaware community. DOT has finalized the parking plan for you guys. We're going to limit the parking in the areas where we know that vehicles cannot park and have vehicles pass. In addition to that, there will be diagrams as well as a FAQ that will distribute in the doors. And we want to meet with neighbors probably this Thursday to walk you through so you can see it physically in person. And if they're not able to attend, we'll be able to have someone from DOT accessible to them via phone as well.
And Councilman, when you say the parking plan, are you referring to something related to the regrading? Or are you talking about something totally different?
Delwood. This is the Delwood, the 1200 block of Delwood. We had several complaints
Scott had a question
in the middle of the street. Yeah. So we have now figured out a way why working creatively with fire department and others on how to restrict parking in some portions of it, and then showing in a diagram what that parking will look like before we put up signs. DOT put up the wrong signs because that was not the plan that they had in place. This diagram is new. And then for persons who may be wishing to park in the rear of their homes, we actually are going to give them some helpful tips on how to, because there are ways that you can park in the rear of your home without having to put down cement. So it could be an impervious surface that would pass and not hit you on your property taxes as well.
Mr. Torrance,
Yes.
can I ask a question real quick? This is Scott Noble, and I appreciate you setting up this meeting for Thursday, and I did just read your post in the Facebook group. My question is though, a few weeks ago on a Saturday morning, DOT came through, put up signs, no parking signs on the odd side of the street, which nobody has ever parked on. And then an hour later took them down. So I'm wondering what happened? What's going on?
It's called someone put in a work order too soon without the final diagram and put the signs up in the wrong place.
So is the plan to move those signs from where they exist, where they existed for a few minutes to the other side of the street?
No, so there's going to be signage that you'll see in the diagram
Okay.
that they'll share on Thursday, where there's going to be some small loss of parking spaces on your even side, and then for those persons on the even side who wish to park in the rear, we will help them with figuring out ways that they can park in the rear. But there's some portions of your street that we took measurements for that it is incapable for anybody to pass through, especially one of our fire apparatuses. So we are going to limit parking and put new signage up in that area that you can't park, so it's easy for them to get through. But there still will be street parking for your street.
I understand that, but the road hasn't changed in 100 years. Like I'm not sure why this hasn't been resolved years ago, but that's a different story.
Listen here, Scott, I will put it like this and be transparent. I fought DOT hard not to just eliminate parking outright on the street. I'm just gonna be frank, right? Because I know that is not the end result, and that is not the thing that we should move for. So we made sure that they did strict measurements and work with fire and identifying areas where we could do parking on both sides.
Right now, and I clearly understand the road narrows down at about 12.
Oh, it does.
So I understand the problem. We need a resolution. I literally just had a court date this week to fight two tickets.
Yeah. So after we meet this week, you should have installation right after in terms of what the new signs will be. But we at least wanted to give people a warning. But I did also delay enforcement too. Okay. So there will not be any enforcement right away. So that's one of the things that we're working on too.
All right. Well, the entire block got ticketed, and I'm sure the city made about $1,000 off of all these tickets that was given.
Yeah, so, and that's the hardest part because someone filed an ADA violation against the city.
Okay, but that doesn't even hold water because there's no sidewalk. You couldn't roll a wheelchair down that sidewalk if you wanted to because there's blocks of sidewalk missing. So that does not hold water.
No, I understand, but someone filed an ADA complaint against us. So that's why we had to be intentional about where parking can be so that there is opportunity for people to pass on the sidewalk. But that's also detailed where eventually I will have to make some improvements similar to what we have in my neighborhood, Ashburton, where we have sidewalks that are permitted for people to pass, but also park on. So that's something that we have to think on.
Just confirming that the meeting on Thursday is open to any concerned resident. Is that correct?
Yes, any concerned resident, but it's at 4:30.
So
great. So we can continue this conversation then on Thursday, just noting that we should probably wrap up the conversation to get to other last topics.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that workable for you, Scott?
I guess that's the decision. So sure.
It's fine. What I'll do is, Scott, I'll drop my phone number in the line and you can call me after the meeting.
Great. Thanks, Councilman. Okay. So in our last few minutes, over to Councilwoman Ramos.
Great. Hi, everybody. Thank you. Just a couple of updates. The bookbindery chap hearing will occur on May 11th at 2:00. We are not postponing it anymore for the developer. I mean, not the developer, the owner. The story has been that the owner wants to sell the building. There's no question about that. And just needed to get itself out from under the contract that they had with the developers that we've rejected. And so they were hoping to find a new buyer. I've sent them people already. But the chap is not willing to postpone the hearing anymore. So we want to go ahead and move that forward, and we're confident that we will get coverage there. And then I will introduce the ordinance at the end of May to make it a permanent landmark. So this first hearing is to officially designate the building as a potential landmark. And then right now it's protected just because we've asked for the protection, but it does have to have a hearing to make it official. And then we've got 6 months to pass the ordinance to make it a permanent landmark. So we are not postponing it anymore. We are going to have this hearing. So you may see more from the Southampton group about that coming up. The Elm Avenue parking hearing, we've had to postpone because I didn't have the site plan. So we are rescheduling that, and I'm gonna be talking with the residents about which direction they want the alley to go. I mean, it definitely will be when people come in the parking lot. This is the one in front of the wine source. When they come in, they will go out and go down towards the avenue. The question was for the residents if they wanted to just have a permanent southbound or still for the residents to go both ways.
Right.
So we will have a separate conversation about that. And so the hearing will likely be sometime in May or June. So those are the two sort of outstanding issues. We're also working with the councilman on the repaving schedule because the entire neighborhood has been dug up for water and BGE. So trying to get all that squared away sooner than later. Last week, we both, reported that they would have to change how they do the paving. So they were going to go for a change order. This is the contractor. So now we're trying to work it out so that that'll happen. Either that or DOT does the repaving sooner than later. So we'll keep you posted about that. I think those are the main things happening that we've been keeping track of. Obviously, the two other zoning things that you heard about here, we already reported on. So, I guess did I report last time? 3818 Roland is now a permanent landmark. So the developer there is still going to have apartments if they meet the parking requirement. But they are, they didn't fight that designation. So it was designated along with 4 others, including Harlem Theater and Poppleton and a few others. So it's kind of cool to have all of those together when we pass those. And then we just continue to work on various legislation around affordable housing with my inclusionary bill, which hopefully will be voted out soon. And then, as you know, the councilman and I worked on sponsoring legislation to create a land bank to really work expeditiously on our vacant property crisis. So you'll hear more about that. We're going to need your assistance and calling various council members and the mayor's office as well. So we'll get that information to you. I think that's it. Yeah.
So we're right at time, folks, and need to be out of here soon, but any last comments online that you want to sneak in before we wrap up?
I just real quick wanted to say about the dining parklets becoming permanent. And if any of our council representatives have some thoughts on how that was allowed to happen by sort of fiat, if you will, from BCDOT, and where is that going?
The city just released its parklets. They're not calling them parklets. They're calling them commercial outdoor or something or other. So they just released the policy. So we'll review. I haven't had a chance to really, they just released it. I haven't had a chance to review it. But I do know that it does include that they have to pay a pretty substantial fee in order to get a parklet and go through some other hoops. What I don't know is if the current ones are grandfathered in, which had been part of the conversation, but I don't think so. But I'll have to they just released the policy. So we can get that out to everybody. Libby, I'll get that over to you so that we can have the discussion at the merchants meeting in a couple weeks.
Thanks. I appreciate that, Odette. I will say one thing is that what they have published is that it's $10 per square foot which is basically the same thing as what you pay for minor privilege for signage or something like that. And it is not in any way a it's barely, it's chump change, let's just say that. And it's I'll be sending you and my friend Councilman Torrance also an email about that. I think it's something to be discussed for real. Thank you.
Sure.
Great. All right. Thanks so much to everybody for your active participation, and congratulations to all who made it through the password to get in here. And I wish you a wonderful rest of the month and into May. Stay tuned for potentially some social activities. We'll say more online in a bit, but great to be with you all. And if we don't see you beforehand, see you May 22nd at our next meeting. Take good care, everybody.
Oh, and that's the 22nd because it's Memorial Day.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, and the library is closed, so.
Right.